Welcome to the show. Welcome to Two Cents. I'm Coach Don, and we have a great show for you guys today. I have a special guest here to my right, Widener Football's own Rick Ritter, and me and Rick will be talking about a number of things that are going on this past weekend in the world of sports, and we're going to jump right into it as we're going to start talking about the Phillies. And Rick, as you know, the Phillies, they have a lot going on. They lost to the Giants, a heartbreaking series. It was bad. And now comes the free agency. We all know about Jason Worth. He's a free agent. Personally, I think they need to resign Jason Worth because Dominic Brown isn't ready yet. What do you think about what the Phillies should do?
Well, there's no doubt that the season, it ended rough. One night Ryan Madsen's out there, he pitches a great showing with the bullpen, and then the next night he gives up a key home run, which eventually cost them the game. But as far as free agency goes, Jason Worth is he's a key player, part of that team. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I know there's talks right now about them possibly trading Shane Victorino and keeping Jason Worth and letting Worth, Dominic Brown, and Ibanez be in the outfield next year. But that the Yankees, they're going to go hard after Worth. There's no doubt about that. They got the money to spend. Everybody knows that. So there's no doubt that they're going to go after guys like Cliff Lee, along with Carl Crawford from the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, as Jason Worth as well.
Yeah, and also one of the key things that happened to this postseason was the bullpen. I think the bullpen came in. They did an okay job. There were some situations where they let some people on base as far as some situations that shouldn't have happened. They allowed to happen. And when the Phillies were up in the games, they let the Giants, come back. Like, it was easy. And, personally, I think this team needs to go out and acquire some bullpen help. Because Ryan Madsen and Brad Lidge and Chad Durbin can't do it all for you. They just can't.
No, they can't. There's no doubt about that. It'll be interesting to see what they do with guys like Chad Durbin, along with J.C. Romero and Jose Contreras as well. But, they definitely got to go out there. They got to see what's available, talk to some other teams, and see what they can get their hands on this offseason.
All right, now we're going to take a look at the Eagles. We all know they had their struggles this past weekend when they played the Titans. Kevin Cobb was a guy who, started for Michael Vick. I think he looked good in the first half, but when it came for him to come into the second half, I don't know what happened. He just lost focus, or I don't know. But what do you think happened?
Well, there's no doubt Cobb came out. He was ready to play, and he looked good in the first half. But at the second half, it was like a totally different team coming out. I don't know how much it was on the offensive shoulders as far as that loss goes, but that line isn't playing up to par this season,
right.
And it hurts not having Michael Vick back there, a guy that can scramble around and make things happen when you got a line like that isn't doing their job as well. But I would say the key component of that loss would have to be the secondary,
right.
Rookie safety Nate Allen giving up some big plays, the second-year receiver Kenny Britt from the Tennessee Titans,
right.
who was absolutely exposing them all day in the secondary.
He had a monster game, and my roommate actually has him on his fantasy team, so he was pretty happy about that. He was pretty happy about that, and I think the defense played good, but the offense let him out to dry.
That's true too, and but the defense, that is the most yards allowed for a single receiver that they've ever allowed in franchise history. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond and make some changes as they're heading into the bye this week. So,
and once they get off the bye, they're going to be playing the Colts. And hopefully they're going to have Michael Vick back. Do you think them having Michael Vick will possibly jumpstart their offense, and hopefully Deshaun Jackson will be back as well?
Like I said just a couple minutes ago, that line isn't up to par this season. So therefore, you need a quarterback back there that can run around and make things happen, because he's going to be pushed out of the pocket and he's going to need to throw on the run. So I think Michael Vick's that guy. And as far as getting Deshaun Jackson back, took a big hit last week. I think the bye is going to help him, and he'll be ready to go against Indianapolis. And once you can get them two guys back and your 1-2 punch with Jackson and Macklin out there, expect some points to be thrown up on that board.
All right. Now, we all know what happened this past weekend with Brett Favre. And a lot of people are going to say, is he done or isn't he done? And, he messed up the same knee he had off-season surgery on. I don't know, but I think Brett's going to give it his all. He's going to try his best to come back. But after the season, there's no question in my mind that he's going to be done. As far as the rest of the season, I'm not sure. And what do you think? what's going to happen.
You know, it'll be interesting to see what happens. You know, he's playing with 2 fractures in his ankle, which is what ESPN just reported a couple days ago. And, you know, he didn't come out and play his best football in the first half on that Monday or that Sunday night game, excuse me. But, you know, he came out in the second half, and fact is, at the end of the game, he led his team back and gave them a chance to win. But, again, you know, he made some bad throws at the end, and which really cost him. But it'll be interesting to see what he does with this injury and what Coach Childress does. You know, maybe they'll insert backup quarterback Tavares Jackson and hope for a better outing.
Yeah, it certainly, you know, not having Brett Favre on this team impacts them tremendously. You know, they went out last year and had a tremendous start, and, you know, really Brett Favre was the key contributor to that team, and not having him now, it's heartbreaking for them because, you know, like I said, in the beginning of the season, they went down there, you know, recruited Brett Favre to come back, and not to have him, it's certainly a letdown, you know, for this team.
It's definitely got to be tough for, you know, for Viking fans, especially with the acquisition of, you know, a guy like Randy Moss. You expect him to come in and start making big plays, but you can just tell that Brett Favre's not his normal self and that he's hurting right now, and that the Vikings aren't playing up to par this season.
All right, well, today's Tuesday, and as we know, the NBA season is going to be in full effect today. A lot of people around the campus are talking about the Miami Heat. That's
everybody.
That's the buzz,
That's
you know,
everybody.
around the NBA. You know, personally, I think that the finals is going to come down to the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers. And I think that with the team the Lakers have, the core group of guys, they've been there before. They've been in, you know, the playoffs. They know what's going to go on. I think that the Lakers have a better shot in winning the championship than the Heat. You know, a lot of people disagree with me, and, you know, I understand, but a lot of people also talk about LeBron James. You know, they compare him to Kobe Bryant, and, you know, immediately they compare him to Michael Jordan. I think you can't compare LeBron yet to Michael Jordan because he hasn't won, you know, the number of championships Jordan has.
Right.
Nor, you know, he's won the number of championships Kobe Bryant has.
Right.
And, you know, I think sometimes people take that into granted, you know. But who do you think is going to be able to actually win it all this year in the NBA?
Well, there's no doubt that this is probably the most anticipated NBA season in history, you know. And a lot of people are favoring the Miami Heat, and I would have to be one of them people that were jumping on that bandwagon. But until lately, you know, they got a lot of guys on their team that are getting hurt, and it looks like that they're going to struggle to stay healthy this year, which has to sway things in favor into the Eastern Conference. Maybe the Boston Celtics, an experienced team that's been there before. But I would definitely say the overall favorite for this NBA season would have to be the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, Kobe Bryant's been there before. He knows how to get these guys going. And they picked up a couple key players this offseason as well, you know, with Matt Barnes and Steve Blake, 2 guys that are going to be big additions for them, as well as they re-signed Lamar Odom too.
Yeah, them re-signing Lamar Odom was one of their key acquisitions because last year he helped them out tremendously, and he's going to have to help them out this year because Andrew Bynum's going to be out for at least a month.
Right.
That's going to affect them big time. So them re-signing Lamar Odom and also getting Matt Barnes, I think was good too. And, you know, when they re-signed Matt Barnes earlier, you know, before the season started, I just kind of chuckled because you remember the game, you know, where it was the Lakers versus the Magic.
Right, when him and Kobe
went at it, and, you know, to sign him, which I think was good.
Well, that just, you know, that shows what type of team player Kobe Bryant is. You know, letting a guy like that come on the team and go into ownership and vouching for him. You know, that shows what kind of player he is and how his mindset on doing one thing, and that's winning another NBA championship.
Definitely. And Rick, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show.
Appreciate you having me. Thanks a lot, buddy.
No problem. Thank you. And right now, we're going to get into my last bit of advice right now. And as we all know, like I said before, the NBA season is in full effect today. And I know a lot of people may be, you know, thinking about getting Sixer tickets for this first game against the Miami Heat. I'm going to tell you why that I think the Sixers are going to struggle this year more than ever. They're going to struggle this year more than ever because it's a new system. Their third straight system in a year. And when you get a guy like Doug Collins, who I think will help this Sixers team out, and for you diehard Sixer fans out there, which I know there are some, but they're probably the closet Sixer fans because they don't want everybody to know they're a Sixer fan. But one of the key things that the Sixers need to do is they need to get a number one player. And Andre Iguodala is not that number one player, and I have said that for years. I really, truly believe that once the Sixers get a number one player that is, you know, that can help out Andre Iguodala, Thaddeus Young, and all, you know, the other guys on the team, along with Elton Brand, if they can get a number one guy, maybe trade for somebody, they will possibly get, you know, to the playoffs, maybe a higher seed into the playoffs. Well, that's going to do it for this show. I'm Coach Don. This is 2 Cents. I'll see you next time.
Good show, man.
Thanks, Rick.
I like that. That was fun.
Thanks. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thanks. Yep.